Welcome to CoinX, where you learn more. And today we're going to be talking about an interesting subject called wage slavery. And the word slavery is pretty triggering and pretty hardcore. And what the thing that the idea that we associate most often with the word slavery is something called chattel slavery, where a person owns another person. But we're not going to be talking about that kind of slavery. We're going to be talking about something that is, in some cases, a little less devastating and serious, but in some cases, it is almost as bad as chattel slavery. And what wage slavery is it refers to a system in which an owning class, through its dominion over land and the means of production, coerces workers into selling their labor. Now, this sounds like normal life. This is what everyone does. Everyone goes to work, they have a job, and the boss pays them. And that's not necessarily what I'm talking about in terms of wage slavery, although that is a form of very mild wage slavery. In fact, unless you're self-employed, you are, to some degree at least, a wage slave. But what I want to talk about is the more serious kind of wage slavery, the kind where a ruling class is in such control of the economic system that they can dominate and control the lives of everyone else in the society. Everyone else in the society that is not a part of the ruling class has to work for them because they have no other option. And in that situation, the ruling class has so much power that they control the lives and livelihood and way of living of everyone else in society. They can force them to work for almost no wages whatsoever. They can force them to work in really horrible, dangerous, life-threatening or health-threatening conditions. And it can really become a very serious thing. While wage slaves have the legal freedom to leave their jobs, they often face economic coercion that keeps them tied to exploitative working conditions. Additionally, where chattel slavery was historically based on racial or ethnic hierarchies, with certain groups considered inherently inferior and thus suitable for enslavement, wage slavery affects individuals across various demographics, although certain marginalized groups may be disproportionately affected. So, in this oppressive system where the ruling class reigns over everyone else with absolute authority by way of their economic dominance, this capitalist ruling class reigns supreme. They take advantage of the workers who, lacking options and bargaining power, are left in a state of perpetual vulnerability. And their plight is further exacerbated by the absence of worker protections, which is a sobering reminder of the socioeconomic disparity that underscores the wage slavery phenomenon. Throughout history, class structure has played a pivotal role in the reinforcing of wage slavery. At the top of this hierarchy exists the ruling class comprised of business magnates, tech giants, corporate executives, and wealthy entrepreneurs who enjoy disproportionate wealth and influence. This elite group often profits by exploiting the labor of the working class, relegating them to subsist on less than living wages in order to maximize their own profits and power. This dynamic allows the ruling class to amass wealth and control, while the working class remains stuck in a cycle of poverty and powerlessness. Traditionally, corporate entities have shown resistance toward measures designated to protect workers, such as labor unions and minimum wage laws. They prioritize the accumulation of wealth, even if it means keeping their workforce in a state of constant vulnerability. This scenario underscores the sinister relationship between the ruling class and wage slaves, demonstrating a systemic imbalance that persists to this day. So what can be done about it? This is a very difficult question. The whole system is geared to operate under the market economy, resource-based currency, consolidated controls, central bank, good old boy aristocratic social structures. These have been in place since the beginning of civilization. Not only are the systems geared to operate this way, but the human mind has also been programmed over thousands of years to operate under the same ideas. What's more, when people are presented with alternative concepts of currency or value or monetary systems or whatever, they have an almost inability to grasp the possibility that there might be a different way of doing things. They're so deeply programmed by the exploitative system that has enslaved their minds, bodies, and souls for so long. But there are alternatives to wage slavery, and people can learn to understand them and make use of them. The question is whether the ruling class is going to allow people to do that. There are a whole variety of options. Starting your own business, being your own boss, or setting up community programs like time banking or mutual credit or local exchange trading systems. And on the blog that we did on this subject at thecoinblog.com, which is linked in the description, you can find a whole list of links to things talking about that. And so, in conclusion, the insidious cycle of wage slavery is a long-standing challenge, deeply woven into the fabric of human history. It perpetuates power structures and power struggles. It's essential that we collectively acknowledge this issue and proactively look for solutions together. We need to take an active role in defining our own economic reality and future by educating ourselves about alternatives and then taking steps to make these alternatives a reality for ourselves and our families and our communities. Ultimately, combating wage slavery is a struggle for human dignity, social justice, and the inalienable right of every person to have control over their own economic freedom and ability to provide for themselves with a decent standard of living. It isn't a revolution that needs to happen, but rather an evolution. The old system has become obsolete and a new system is emerging. What that new system turns out to be is up to you. I hope that that was a helpful CoinX segment, and I hope that you join us for the next segment to find out just exactly what we'll be talking about next.
Woke up this morning feeling down and blue, got the blues